Trump on day one would walk into that office with an enemies list.
Vice President Harris in Las Vegas after a rally in Reno.
At the top of my list is bringing down the cost of your living. That will be my focus every single day as president.
If she gets 4 more years, Kamala Harris will pick your pockets bare. We will not have a country. Everyone will flee. Our companies are going to flee.
Former President Trump also in Nevada at a rally in Henderson, again critical of President Biden, calling his supporters garbage.
How stupid is a man to say that? But she believes it too. I'd love to hear the conversation now.
And there's more controversy about that Biden garbage comment.
The White House stenographers come with the House. They are not political. Some of them have been there since Trump and will be there after Biden. And they are now as mad as you will ever hear a stenographer on the record that White House officials working for President Biden tried to change the meaning of their transcript. So it sounded like the president on that Zoom with Voto Latino was just criticizing a comedian instead of all Trump supporters.
Fox's Peter Ducey, that edit put an apostrophe after the R in supporters to try to make it look singular and only referring to that comedian at the Trump Sunday rally calling Puerto Rico garbage. There'll be Trump and Harris rallies tonight in Wisconsin, another toss-up state. Nearly 64 million Americans have already voted early. A real scare. During a Halloween celebration in Orlando, Florida after midnight, someone started shooting in the streets, sending people running, causing chaos downtown.
Certain clubs were kicking people out. Certain clubs were locking everyone in.
2 people were shot dead, 6 others wounded. A suspect was arrested, a 17-year-old. The number of deaths in Spain after massive flash flooding this week has just been upped to 200 plus, with more people still missing. America's listening to Fox News.
So this new dose is, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Hey, Donald Trump Jr. here. Central banks are buying gold at record amounts, and the trend is accelerating in 2024. They see the writing on the wall. The dollar is failing. Is gold the answer for you too? To find out, get a free info kit from Birch Gold Group by texting the word SHELTER to 989898. That's SHELTER to the number 989898 to get your free info kit from Birch Gold, the only gold company I trust, right now.
Message and data rates may apply.
Well, fresh off inserting that garbage controversy into the campaign that he's no longer part of, President Biden will today go to a swing state, key to who wins the election.
At a union hall in Philadelphia, President Biden will announce more than 1 million union pensions have been saved through a provision in the American Rescue Plan, a pandemic stimulus package. President Biden has called himself the most pro-union president in history, and the administration says actions taken during his term have expanded workplace safety and made it easier to organize and collectively bargain. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Well, speaking of unions, striking Boeing workers plan to vote Monday on a new contract offer with a bigger pay raise, 38% over 4 years, with a bigger bonus being offered and a payment to their 401k plans. But it does not include a pension plan that Boeing workers demand. Their 7-week strike has halted some airplane production. It's November 1st, open enrollment time for Obamacare health plans.
Vice President Kamala Harris has vowed to maintain and grow the Affordable Care Act, which is used by millions of Americans. She and fellow Democrats say former President Trump has made dozens of attempts to get rid of it, which the GOP presidential nominee denies. The former president has said he has concepts of a plan he says would be better. Open enrollment for the coverage ends on January 15th, but to have coverage in the new year, folks must enroll by December 15th. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
We'll get the last big economic report before the election this hour, expected to show a hiring slowdown last month. And ahead of that on Wall Street, stock futures are rising the day after a big sell-off. On Thursday Night Football, the Jets fly high.
4-man rush. Rodgers to the end zone. And Wilson. Can he one-handed and stay in bounds?
Well, replay review says he did stay in bounds. One of 2 Garrett Wilson TD catches as New York snaps a 5-game losing streak. The Jets beat the Houston Texans on Amazon Prime Video 21-13. I'm Dave Anthony, and this is Fox News.
Here's a look at local news.
A coalition of banking groups asking a federal judge to block an Illinois law banning certain credit card fees. The banks argue that the regulation would be costly to financial institutions and is preempted by existing federal law. The injunction is requesting a part of the federal lawsuit filed by financial institutions. The law blocks banks and credit card companies from charging retailers a small fee on taxes and tips. Longtime aide to former Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan revealing details about his control over the state House during Madigan's racketeering trial. Will Cozino testified that former House Speaker would secretly impose his will on legislation with the help of trusted lieutenants like Michael McLean. A Lincoln home destroyed as firefighters battled not only the blaze, but also windy conditions. Lincoln Rural Fire and Auto Aid departments called to a house fire in the 1400 block of State Route 10. As firefighters arrived, the home completely consumed by fire. You're locally up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Joe Miller.
Well, a good November to ya. It is November 1st, and yes, it's Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We are into the weekend live at Pia's today after 3, our last broadcast from Pia's.
And if you want some tickets, we have them.
I might be able to give you a few more, too.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right, it's Greg Solier, our meteorologist. The number I have is, with a couple of numbers, 9. That's how many bags of candy I bought.
Oh, wow.
And 4, that's how many pieces of candy I had left.
Oh, wow.
I shut the lights off at 7:59 because I had 4 left.
Well, you only had a minute left.
Yeah, I know. So it might have been like 45 seconds anyway.
How much of that did you eat?
1 piece.
I was also very disciplined.
1 piece. It was the doggone, dang it, Reese's thing. Really creamy chocolate and Reese's peanut butter.
So how many sit-ups with CrossFit are you going to have to do to burn that off?
Well, that would be probably only, 40. It's not too many. It's ridiculous. In fact, that really helps when I see what it takes to pull 30 calories on the roll.
Yep.
And then you look at the candy, it's like 70.
Yep.
And you're going, this is not worth it.
Not worth it.
No.
What it takes to get to 70 calories on a rower, it really has helped me. I'm going, it's not
Greg
worth
and
it.
I's philosophy is just don't think about that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you can do that.
Or jump on the bicycle, but yesterday was a problem with 50-mile-an-hour winds. So.
Well, that's that kind of wind and bike is kind of dangerous if you've got the wrong direction.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, there are times where I've gotten you to make a turn and it hits you the wrong way and you kind of warble around. Yeah, I've come close a few times with that.
So I didn't know you're a bicyclist. Are you going to enter the Tour de France for the second time, or are you just going to call it one and done?
No, I'm not of that caliber, and there are folks who have more mileage per se than me that pass me and lap me. But I hold my own pretty well.
Pretty good, man. That's a way.
Maybe a 5 minute mile, maybe 4 minutes and 30 seconds to 5 minutes per mile. So I get it timed out and try to do.
Do you have the tight shorts and the helmet and everything?
Well, yeah. Well, this time of the year it's more leggings and a couple of layers. But I'll get out there. If it's about 50-ish or 45 to 50 and the winds are light. And, that's my bottom threshold for it. So,
awesome.
That has really changed. That's been my go-to form of exercise. When it gets to be stone cold, I tell you what, I'm miserable because I can't get out there. So,
well, good for you. Way to keep the body moving, man. That's awesome.
There you go.
All right, yeah, we had probably 100 people come by, over 100, but they're coming in groups of like 8 and 12. So it's just like all of a sudden
there's all the bags. Here we go.
All right, Mr. Greg Solier, meteorologist with a peek at the weather with rain on the way for a few days. Stand by. The weather brought to you this morning by Carl.
1 in 5 people in the U.S. don't know they have diabetes, a common health complication, and you can talk to your provider about diabetes prevention and management. Learn more at carl.org.
All right, sir. How does it look for our ball game in the whole weekend?
Beautiful for early November. Another Chamber of Commerce day's worth of weather relative to early November. We'll have sunshine, light winds out of the southeast. They'll probably kick it off at around 56 degrees or so. 63 later in the ball game. So that should draw a big crowd with Minnesota in town. So a couple of days worth of quiet weather on the cooler side today. A little milder tomorrow. Big rain system, a multi-day. So that should help with percolation. Absorption probably 1 to 3. Outlier, maybe some 4-inch totals lurking just north and northwest of Champaign. So some drought relief coming our way. And don't worry if you're still trying to cross the T's, dot the I's on harvest. Be able to get back out there certainly by mid-month. But there's not a lot to go. We need the moisture considering dryness and drought. Up to 56 today. We're 35 now at Willard and Savoy. Sunfield 32 on the low tonight. Tomorrow 63 as mentioned. Don't forget the time change tomorrow night with a low down to 45. And a breezy milder Sunday. Spells of shower activity activity, maybe a thunderstorm morning and afternoon. Just rubber stamp that forecast for Tuesday and Monday as well, with highs of around 70 tomorrow, 73 Monday, Election Day high of about 70. Back into more chillier weather, but drier the second half of next week with highs in the 50s. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Soldier.
All right, off we go. It is the weekend. It is 7:10. I am Stevie J. That is Diane Ducey.
Good morning.
Thomas Isevich. It's actually Thomas Lysevich. That's how you say it now. I know for a fact.
I mean, you said it 4 different ways, and you said that's how we say it.
The last one was supposed to... Lysevich.
Okay.
It's Lysevich. Why do I know that?
Ivisevich.
Nope, it's life is like. Good luck, Brian Barnhart. Lysevich. Thomas Lysevich. Why do I know that?
He can play.
Hi, Line family. This is Tomis Lajvisic, and I got great news for you. I got cleared to play, so I'll see you all on Monday.
Okay. Yeah, I. Let's go. Lajvisic. No, he says a little emphasis on second.
Because I feel like he's still.
Hi, Line family. This is Tomis Lajvisic, and I got great news for you.
So I got
cleared to play, so I'll see you all on Monday. ILL.
Lajvisic. No, Lajvisic. So it's Lyvisish.
I jotted it down phonetically.
Lajvisic.
We're right on top of it.
Georgi Bishan-Zavili took me 6 months.
Yes.
But we want to get Thomas Lajvisic.
I mean,
Hi, Line family. This is Tomis Lajvisic.
All right, Thomas Lajvisic. Okay. So anyway, the big deal is good for him, but the big deal is the starting five.
Yes.
That's our big deal because somebody could win $3,000.
Yeah, we'll see how it turns out.
Woo!
7 o'clock, EIU on Monday.
Okay, so 7 o'clock, they walk out. They're kind of adjusting their waistbands, you know how they do. And
ready for the jump ball.
Yeah, with the 5 Illini on the floor are the 5 starters in the first regular season game. That was our contest, our promotion.
Yes.
Last May and June, the Dogtown Heating and Air, the U of I golf course, and Thomas and Eller's insurance. So we had sponsors. I said I'll give you $3,000 because it's literally impossible to know anything. I'm pretty sure Brad Underwood, it's Friday, probably has an idea Monday, but I'm telling you, that's how crazy it's been. Following the exhibition in Mississippi, does he stay with those guys? If he stays with those guys from that Sunday in Mississippi, somebody's going to win. We know for a fact.
Okay.
But if there's a little wrinkle in there.
I never would have thought anybody would be even close.
No, man, we have some PhD sports people in the audience. There's no doubt. Anyway, it's Thomas Lajvisic. I just want to get it right, man.
Hi, Line family. This is Tomis Lajvisic.
You're going to want to know how to say his name. The guy is 7'1" and can shoot the 3 ball. He's really going to be good.
I feel like we need to hit the live. That's what he did. Lajvisic.
I think it's Lajvisic.
Hi, Line family. This is Tomis Lajvisic.
He has a little emphasis on the second syllable.
Okay.
Lajvisic. Okay, we got this. Thomas Lajvisic.
Hi, Line family. This is Tomis Lajvisic, and I got great news for you. I got cleared to play.
Let's go.
Yes.
We need him. And Morez Johnson, I think, is going to be fantastic.
Yes.
But he was picked by a lot of people to start. He's not going to start if Thomas is there. So there's one down. So we're narrowing the field.
We are.
But we will get
and
all
3 years of eligibility.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he'll make it because I think he'll be that good.
Everybody switches out.
No, I know. It's just like
NBA or transfer portal or whatever.
You have a lot of WD-40 to just kind of spray the hinges of the swinging door.
Yes.
Because they swing open and closed. Well, we'll see. We got our guys for this year.
Again, Monday, EIU, 7 o'clock. Women's basketball against Lewis tonight. So let's go. We also have, of course, football tomorrow. Number 24, Illinois, taking on Minnesota, 11 a.m. There's lots of Dad's Day and military appreciation things to take note of as far as event planning. And if you go to fightingillini.com and click on Game Day, you can learn all about it. The walk at 8:30 is one that I had highlighted because the guys walk from the First Street through Green Grove to Memorial Stadium, and we'll see the military rappelling down Memorial Stadium.
About what time is
8:30.
that? Okay.
It's always like an hour and a half before kickoff.
All right.
And then when the guys walk in to Memorial Stadium or on that Illini walk, They'll have their fathers next to them for the
so
Dad
cool.
Day.
Love that.
And I know their helmets have like extra stickers on them.
They have stars representing.
Or something, the
Yeah.
soldiers and
Yeah.
stuff at the base of memorial stadiums.
Yeah.
You know, great big pillars. I mean, it's just really cool what they're doing to get the guys with their focus on the game and all the stuff it means.
I feel a little bit, just a little bit like Illinois fans anyway are on their heels. It doesn't feel, it's almost more apprehension that we're playing Minnesota versus excitement. Like, oh no, we might lose. I mean, the point spread opened with Illinois favored to win by a field goal, and now it's completely flipped, and Minnesota's now favored to beat me on my home field, and I'm 6-2, and we're ranked and they're not, and yet Minnesota's the favorite by 3. I don't know why it flipped so dramatically.
It could be that Brett Bielema's keeping close to his chest this injured list.
Well, I think what I would say is
Pat Bryant playing?
I think all that's leaked, and I think gamblers heard about it. You know, all that, I don't know how.
And he hasn't said.
No, he hasn't. Their game time decision.
They asked him about media day, but of course he said, "I'm going to follow the Big Ten rules." And
I think for a flip like 6 points,
2 hours before game time.
I don't think Pat Bryant's playing. I think there's a number of guys that aren't playing, and I think that's the only reason the betting world would flip that much.
Me too.
6 points is a ginormous flip in the game of gambling, and it's all around us. Of course, you can't gamble on Illinois, but you sure can find a place outside of Illinois to put a bet down. There's no doubt.
For sure. Now, I know Rick had texted into 359-2255 saying TL is Thomas Elisevic.
I'm only going to say, I don't need any help. I got him saying it. So whatever, I'm going to take it from the 7'1".
That's what we did with Brett Bielema saying the first.
It's not Bielema. It's Bielema.
Yeah, he said the whatever E is silent. It's Bielema. He said that at his press conference.
Right, exactly. So I mean, I'm going with Levisic. I got this, man.
Hi, Illini family. This is Tomis Levisic.
That's it, Thomas Levisic. We got it.
I think it's emphasis on live.
Hi, Illini family. This is Tomis Levisic.
Levisic.
No, it's Levisic. Listen to him.
Hi, Illini family. This is Tomis Levisic.
It's Levisic. Levisic. Okay, we're working on it. Phonetics 101. We are working on pronouncing. How do you say Kaspar? Is it Kaspar? It's KJ.
Yeah,
but that's my next one.
You're right.
But
we need to work on that one.
I need him to say his name.
But the fact that Thomas Love is actually playing for us now as a sophomore, that's a good thing. So New York Jets over the Houston Texans 21-13. I haven't seen Wilson's one-handed touchdown.
It was. If you remember. The Giant, the New York Giant, the great white.
Yeah, I remember
Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham's
That's
catch.
it.
This might have been more spectacular than Odell Beckham's one.
Wow.
Unbelievably amazing. Let's check weather brought to you by the Urbana Park District.
And they've got their America Recycles Day glass blowing demonstration tomorrow. Lots of festivities. It's at the Anita Purvis Nature Center from 10 to 2 tomorrow. Learn details at urbanaparks.org.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for you, Central Illinois, Champaign, Urbana, and vicinity, and a more seasonal day's worth of weather on this November 1st. Sun-filled, light northeasterly wind, and a high at about 56. Clear tonight. We'll bottom out at 32 for the day tomorrow. Sunny, mild in the afternoon. Kickoff rating at 56, 63 later in the ball game, and a light southeast wind. Don't forget the time change before you retire tomorrow night. Back to standard time. Fall back at about 56 wind and a high tonight. We'll bottom out clear 2 for the day tomorrow at 32 out in the afternoon. Tomorrow sunny, mild rating at 15. Kickoff 53 later in the 56, 68 south ball game, and a light. Forget the time change wind. Don't forget tomorrow night. Back to before you retire. Fall back at standard time. Fall wind and a high at about 56. Clear tonight. We'll bottom out at 32 for the day tomorrow. Sunny, mild in the afternoon. Kickoff rating at 56, 63 later in the ball game, and a light southeast wind. Don't forget the time change before you retire tomorrow night. Back to standard time. Fall back at about 56 wind and a high tonight. We'll bottom out clear 2 for the day tomorrow at 32.
Since Busey Bank first opened our doors in 1868, we have built upon a tradition of close relationships and broad financial capabilities. Our experienced team provides the highest level of personalized service to ensure we accomplish your goals, simplifying your wealth management and business lending needs and ensuring a legacy for generations. Building business, growing wealth since 1868. Proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini. Member FDIC.
I'm Stuart Varney, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stock futures are suggesting some recovery today after Thursday's sell-off. Wall Street will be reacting today to the October employment report and more earnings. Both ExxonMobil and Chevron shares are higher. The energy giants reported stronger than expected earnings. Together, they've returned more than $155 billion to investors in dividends and buybacks of their own shares. Both companies are holding up better than expected. Earnings were down from a year ago, and there are signs that a glut of oil will keep prices low for months. Oil prices have fallen about 15% over the past 6 months. Apple's iPhone sales rose to a record in the recent quarter after a modest rebound in sales. However, the stock is lower because Apple's cautious about the holiday quarter. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
It is time to take the quiz.
5 days a week, it's 5 questions in less than 5 minutes. We ask people on the streets of New York City to play along. Let's see how you do.
Including the pre-Super Bowl era, what NFL franchise has won the most NFL championships?
I'm going to say the Cowboys.
Good guess. I would say the Packers.
How'd you do? Exactly. These get tougher, so hang on.
Make sure you take the quiz every weekday at thequiz.fox. Thank you for taking the quiz.
Hi, I'm Lori Brower, and I'm running for Champaign County Coroner. I have healthcare and management experience from my years as an emergency department technician and a corrections officer, and I served as a deputy coroner since 2021. In this role, I'm qualified and experienced in death investigations in the field, as well as assisting the forensic pathologist during autopsies. I'm ready to serve the people of the county as the Champaign County Coroner. You can vote for me, Lori Brower, through early voting or on Election Day, November 5th.
Paid for by Friends of Lori Brower.
For over 50 years, ABC Heating and Air Conditioning has been a proud part of our local community. As a locally owned company, they understand the value of service and dedication. This Veterans Day, they're honoring the brave men and women who have served our country by giving back in a special way. ABC Heating and Air Conditioning is giving away a complete HVAC system, including heating and air conditioning, to a deserving U.S. veteran. Do you know a veteran who'd benefit from this gift? Text the word VET for more information to the Stevie Jay Broadcasting studio lines at 217-359-2255. And let's come together to show our appreciation and support for our veterans. Remember, it's not just about keeping homes comfortable. It's about honoring those who have kept our nation safe. Nominate a veteran today by texting VET to the Stevie Jay Broadcasting studios at 217-359-2255. ABC Heating and Air Conditioning, serving our community, supporting our heroes.
Celebrating 70 years of excellence, the University of Illinois Police Training Institute has been a cornerstone of law enforcement training since 1955. To mark the milestone in 2025, there's exciting community outreach events and unveiling plans to modernize the training facilities. Discover how PTI is evolving and how you can support the future of police training. Visit pti.illinois.edu for details, upcoming events, and donation opportunities. University of Illinois Police Training Institute, also on Facebook and Instagram.
Switching is easy. We do it all the time. We switch on the lights. We switch TV channels. Some of us switch partners while square dancing. Well, that's a stretch. But what's not a stretch is how you can switch and save with State Farm. In fact, State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow right here in Champaign-Urbana can switch you over so you can start saving today. Kurt and his team are ready to welcome you to the State Farm neighborhood. It's easy to switch and save. Just give them a call when you want the real deal. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Yeah, that's what we need. We need KJ to say his name. That's what we need.
Shout your own name.
Shout your own name for me, Mary. Because we now know Thomas Levisic.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. It's about you. Thomas Levisic. And now we got that down. He is eligible to play Monday night against Eastern's. Great news. You got a guy who's 21 years old, a little older, because we're super young this year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So we were super old last year. We went to Mississippi to play super old, and we saw what happened.
I see.
And that's why Brad Underwood found a super old team to just kind of...
Right. It was unusual. It was great.
Put it on us so we know where we need to go. And then he's got all the videotape say, this is why that didn't work. When you're driving to 3 people, they're going to stop you.
Uh-huh.
And this isn't where you used to play because it's more difficult. Also, I've got Ed Martin, Brother Johnny are coming up on a special Friday, then a special Monday, then we'll talk Wednesday after nobody sleeps.
It's election season, so let's get our vote done.
And again, Mark
get
Cuban.
That ballot researched and cast.
If you missed the Mark Cuban, I'm going to play this. This is a kid dressed up as Halloween. It's pretty funny.
Happy Halloween, everybody. I love it. We're going to have an amazing Halloween. We're going to make a lot of candy, more candy than ever before.
This kid dressed up as Trump.
Oh, that's awesome.
Pretty good. All right, this is what's bringing rain for the Kamala Harris campaign.
Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women, ever. It's just that simple.
Mark Cuban, billionaire, former owner of the Dallas Mavericks, Shark Tank.
Yeah.
Mark Cuban, pretty well liked. Now he's got the whole thing where, half the country doesn't like you anymore, that kind of thing.
Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women, ever. It's just that simple.
Why would he say that? How would he know that?
Well, now there's a post saying that didn't come out right.
Well, I don't care how it came out. It came out.
I know. And now everybody's there in the clip, including us.
They were saying Joe Biden didn't say that the supporters of Donald Trump are garbage.
Right.
And wait a minute, he said garbage. And so then the White House transcript changed it to apostrophe S to include, what he meant was the comedian, not everybody. Well, he said everybody.
Right.
Supporters are garbage.
And
now,
why are we getting so worked up about a comedian's statements anyway?
It's something to reach at, and it's what we're at the last minute. Everybody grab. Anyway, people
tired of all this.
This is a big Halloween help because a lot of people did the garbage man last night.
Yeah.
And the vest.
Get the sanitation worker vest.
Yeah, people were working the garbage thing, and then on Fox News this morning, they were down in Georgia, and the guy said, "Hello, yeah, good to talk to you guys. My name is Garbage, and I think everybody's name in here is Garbage, right?" So they're playing it out. But this again, Mark Cuban, to make such a but he's a smart guy. He really is. He's very much in for Kamala Harris. That's whatever he wants to do, but. To know that that's probably going to trigger some folks, as it should.
Right.
To just accuse
Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women, ever.
I don't know.
There's a Harvard Law graduate. There's so many women now that have hung out with him that are stepping up saying, "Excuse me."
I think it's the first mom as press secretary was Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Right.
I think one was
they just
children.
had a clip from her on the TV in studio here in Philo, and I can't believe he would make something like that.
I don't know.
Again, you make the statement, then it trends, and then you can redact it or say I'm sorry or whatever, and nobody pays attention to any of that.
Yes.
Welcome to AI. Welcome to the election season. Yes.
It is 7:28. Ed Martin for Special Friday edition. Brother Johnny next. In 1925, Bud and B. Reichert founded a small plumbing business in Urbana. Today, nearly 100 years later, A&R Mechanical is still thriving. A&R Mechanical believes in designing, building, and maintaining with plumbing, piping, ventilation, and HVAC service. As one of the largest and most innovative contractors in the Midwest, their team creates and sustains essential facility systems for iconic structures like the Siebel Center, the Campus Instructional Facility, Carl at the Fields, Chemical and Life Science Lab, the Carl Heart and Vascular Service, and literally dozens more. Their impact on Champaign-Urbana is legendary. For nearly a century, A&R Mechanical has been a cornerstone of our community. Congratulations, A&R Mechanical, on nearly 100 years of dedication, innovation, and community spirit. Design, build, maintain. It's what they've done for nearly 100 years and what they'll continue to do for the next 100 years. Visit ar-mech.com for more details.
Mark your calendars now for America Recycles Day, November 2nd. Come to the Anita Purvis Nature Center between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and check out all the free activities. Learn about all the different and fun things you can do with recycled glass. See glass blowing demonstrations from a local artist. Learn how you can go green and recycle items in your world. Keep up to date on America Recycles Day, November 2nd by checking out the posts on social media or visit urbanaparks.org. Urbana Park District, you belong here.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
Hi, I'm Jeff Brownfield, and I'm running to be your next state senator. Our taxes are too high, and it's hurting hardworking families like yours. I'll fight to lower taxes and keep more money in your pocket. The Muhammad Aquifer is our lifeline, and I'll work to protect it from contamination, because frankly, clean water is non-negotiable. It's time to get rid of career politicians who've lost touch with the people they serve. Let's bring fresh ideas to Springfield and get things done for Central Illinois. I'm Jeff Brownfield, and I approve this message.
Fox News, I'm CJ Papa. 4 days until Election Day, nearly 64 million Americans casting their votes early. Billionaire Mark Cuban saying on ABC's The View that former President Trump doesn't surround himself with strong, intelligent women.
Cuban walking back on his remarks, saying, one, I know many strong, intelligent women voting for Trump, including in my extended family. I'm certainly not saying female voters are not smart, strong, and intelligent. Two, I know he has worked with strong, intelligent women like Elaine Chao, Kellyanne, Ivanka, and many others.
Fox's Brooke Singman. Trump in Michigan and Wisconsin today. Vice President Harris will also appear in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the same time Trump was there. 2 dead, 6 are wounded, sent to the hospital. Bullets started flying in Orlando just after midnight. In the downtown section of the city, Police Chief Eric Smith saying a 17-year-old suspect is in custody. America's listening to Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. Illinois is offering a new service to report hate crimes in the state. Officials announcing the official launch of Help Stop Hate. The free confidential service provides support to assist victims and witnesses of hate acts in reporting what happened and connecting them and their communities with vital resources. A teen in custody. It follows a shooting in North Champaign. They say shots were fired in the area of 4th Street and Nelson Court. Good news, nobody hurt, but there was damage to a home and car. Afterward, a 17-year-old boy fled on foot into a nearby home. Police served a search warrant at the home, and the teen was finally arrested on charges of aggravated unlawful use of weapons. Illinois Department of Financial and Professional Regulation launching a new online professional licensing system. They say the comprehensive online regulatory environment eliminates the need for paper applications, gives applicants more control over their application materials, and helps prevent deficient applications from being submitted. And that's what's happening. You're locally up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim Miller.
Check of our weather brought to you by Kramer Siding and Window.
Your premier provider for home improvement, specializing in siding, windows, doors, roofing, outdoor living. Visit kramersiding.com.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Central Illinois. Champaign and vicinity. Nice to have some degree of rainfall. Trick-or-treaters certainly experiencing as expected. A few sprinkles and a wind blown yesterday afternoon. Quiet and clear sailing for the next couple. Start of an extended period of wet weather Sunday into at least the first half of next week with multi-inch rainfall totals over a wide area of the Corn Belt, East Central Illinois included. No rain today, sunshine, lighter wind, more seasonal highs to about 57. Light north-northeasterly wind for tonight. Clear down near freezing for the weekend. Sunny, milder tomorrow afternoon. Kickoff temperature at about 56, 63 later in the ball game with a light southeast wind. Scattered showers after midnight for tomorrow night. Don't forget the time change back an hour as standard time resumes and a low down to 45. Sunday, breezy, a bit milder, cloudy. Rounds of shower activity, maybe a thunderstorm at 69 to 70. More showers Monday and Election Day Tuesday. High temperatures there in the lower 70s. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
Hello, Champaign County voters. This is Alan Anderson, candidate for auditor. We have a problem. A recent disclosure showed that our county missed out on earning more than $2 million over the past 3 years because taxpayer funds were deposited in extremely low-yielding bank accounts when they should have been invested elsewhere and earned much higher rates of return. This is a painful reminder of the crucial role the auditor's office should be playing in our county. It's not a job for an external auditor nor computer software. It's a job for a dedicated, vigilant auditor. The current auditor failed to find this problem until recently because he rarely looked at the county's financial transactions. Records show he did so only 20 times in a recent 461-day period. We need an auditor who worked for the county 100% of the time, not 5%. Your vote for Alan Anderson as the next Champaign County Auditor may be worth millions. Please visit my website at andersonforauditor.com. I am Alan Anderson, and I approve this message. Paid for by Anderson for Auditor.
A special edition. Ed Martin, Brother Johnny on Friday, and then Monday, and then Wednesday as we get through the election.
Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women. Ever. It's just that simple.
Well, Ed, what do you think? Mark Cuban on that comment from his private jet on The View. Little backlash on that one. That kind of matter at all?
The interesting thing is anything you can do to get your opponent off their talking points. And, Mark Cuban has had an interesting position in this. Kamala Harris is so bad at explaining what she's for and what she's about. And they say, Kamala, can you tell us about your economic plan? She says, I'm from the middle class. Can you tell us about foreign affairs? I'm from the middle class. Cuban has been out actually saying this is why her plans could work. He actually has been saying one of her tax plans on gains, he said publicly she won't do that, I promise. She's just saying that for effect. And he's actually been pretty effective. So he suddenly messes up, and he learns what it's like to play, big league ball in the seventh game of the World Series. So he is on his heels. He's now done a couple, 3 or 4 X posts where he explains himself, and it's not helping. So, but I don't think it moves many voters. I do think it helps Trump to have a parade of smart, talented women, which is what they're doing, saying, I work with Trump, and it's really great, and I'm Governor Huckabee Sanders from Arkansas. I worked for Trump. It was great. I think that probably doesn't hurt, but I don't know if it moves any votes in the election. I doubt it.
Yeah, I think the whole that whole move toward just nothing's working out is making a difference. And I'm telling you, nothing's working out. They have nothing to really grasp. They grasped that comedian when he made the joke about Puerto Rico. Actually, they have a real trash crisis in Puerto Rico, but nobody knew it, so they didn't understand he was making fun like when the New York sanitary workers go on strike. And they jumped on that as if, look what Donald Trump hates Puerto Rico. And then Joe just nukes it into the next galaxy. And talk about knock them off their game. All they can talk about is the new American hero, the garbage man.
Yeah, exactly.
That stimulated a lot of costumes last night on Halloween. There's no doubt about it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, and you got, back in 2016 and 2020, you were afraid to even say you're for Donald Trump, and now here's a child dressed as Donald Trump.
Happy Halloween, everybody. I love it. We're going to have an amazing Halloween. We're going to make a lot of candy, more candy than ever before. We're going to have better jobs, better economy, lower gas prices. You already know that by now. But if you don't have any brain cells, obviously, or common sense, you're voting for Kamala Harris. No one likes Kamala.
I mean, they're out there, Ed. I mean, they're just...
I think Stevie, that's a good way to describe it, in the sense that it almost somehow over the summer, maybe being shot. They've tried to call him Hitler, it didn't work. They've tried to call him mean, it didn't work. They've got all these things. When he's dressed up in a garbage the vest and he's riding in a truck, and the Democrats are saying, "Oh my gosh, this is so terrible." It's just working. I mean, it actually looks joyful. It looks like he's having a good time, right? He does look like a 78-year-old man getting in the garbage truck. I admit that, but it looks like, and so one side is having fun and talking about making things better, and the other side is trying to say, you're Hitler, you're Hitler, Hitler. And one of the they're going to try to do this today. Last night in one of his speeches or one of his rallies, he said, Liz Cheney, she likes to send our country to war. She likes to send our country to war. People like her, they should be in. And what he meant was in the war and facing the guns aimed at them and see if they like it. The line like the chicken hawks, the Democrats and the peace people, peaceniks used to do this all the time. Well, they're now saying Trump is talking about aiming guns. He wants to execute Liz Cheney. Yeah. And the real story here is the media is so lacking in credibility. There's so little trust. Nobody looks up and goes, "Oh, really? That's the news?" They mostly look up and go, "I still can't afford bacon."
Right.
Well, I think too, combined with the sentiment, well, Trump might not be as bad as I thought, is the incredible. Steve, it's hard to believe, but the Democratic campaign and the way they've gone about this whole thing has made many on the Trump side more afraid of Kamala than the Kamala people are afraid of Trump.
Yeah.
Which is almost impossible. And the Kamala people who are afraid, they're numb to it. That doesn't get them out to vote. But it's new to the Republican side. They're terrified. They're running out to vote because they're afraid. So it all could add up to defeating the Leviathan. But there's still, how many more days is it now?
Four, yeah.
4 days,
Well,
Eddie.
and so I've talked to a number of people, not on the public square, but people I know, and 100% of the people I visit with are worried about the count and worried about the process, Ed. Is still things to be worried about.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and I think there is real things to be worried about. But, when I've told the story before, I've cited this experience. When I was in St. Louis, I was the chairman of the Board of Elections for a couple of years. And the thing I learned most is it's really hard to run elections because you basically run a Super Bowl level game, but you don't get to practice. You can't practice you don't get even regular games. You just run a game twice a year. You have 2 elections. So it's hard to get ready for it and do it well. You have to work hard at it. The systems have to be smart. But the other part of it is people have to believe it's worth doing. They have to believe it's working. And the way you would do to try to beat that is to talk about, if you commit fraud, we're going to prosecute you. If you commit, aggression, any kind of intimidation, we're going to. And that was a way to say, hey, the system is worth protecting. You're seeing a lot of that. I hope what you're seeing is more attention on the system, so people won't try to do as many things. But look, Johnny has been doing it for 4 years. The system we have for electing, the electronic systems aren't as auditable as they should be. The process of a registration, there's a victory in Virginia. The U.S. Supreme Court said Virginia can take off the rolls illegal people, but people don't even know what it was. Illegal immigrants who people who admitted they're not citizens. When they registered to vote, they said, "Are you a citizen?" They said no. And you wonder why they were registering. They were registering, who knows? I mean, that's another question. But the Virginia guy said, we got to take them off. They admitted they're not citizens. Take them off. And the Democrats fought that. Well, the Supreme Court said they could do it. So my point is, I think there is more attention to the concerns. There's certainly more concerns and more doubt. So I'm sort of cautiously optimistic that you're going to have so many eyes on this, and it's going to be such a good election for Trump, that they're not going to be able to cause the same level of problems. But it's a worry. It's a republic-ending problem if our elections become incredible to everyone.
That's a republic-ending problem, and so it's the drop boxes, and it's the same-day registration, and it's the mail-in ballots. Those are all legal. Those aren't voter fraud. It makes it easier to commit voter fraud for everyone. I guarantee the Republicans have embraced, for instance, ballot harvesting, where you pay someone to just go get X number of votes, and so. Okay, well, maybe they're legitimate votes, and maybe not. He just brings them back and turns them in, and they count them. And so we've got to tighten that up. And I'm concerned because remember 2020, Steve, in the 7 swing states, it all came out just it's 6, 7, 8 million votes. There was, I think, 12,000 in Georgia, 17,000 in Arizona, 60,000 out of 7 million votes. They always had enough votes. You know what I'm saying? So getting out the vote in that case wouldn't matter because they'll still end up coming up with just enough votes. Because if you look at a toss-up state, it's like flipping a coin 7 times in a row and winning heads. Doesn't happen. And so I'm worried about it. I think Eddie's right. I think we've seen a lot of people fighting it. The Republicans were cowed into not talking about it. The top Republicans, and we've tried to energize the base, which might have been smarter. And so perhaps the buzz and people watching, and you're already hearing things around the country. And so hopefully it'll turn out. I think, Eddie, the House is going big Republican, the Senate's close, and Trump is just going to be something we'll just have to watch.
Okay, I wanted to mention here, it's Ed Martin, Brother Johnny. Ed's the president of Legal Forum Equal Defense Fund. Phyllis Schlafly, the great Phyllis Schlafly, who defeated ERA, the Equal Rights Amendment, back in the 70s, 80s, single-handedly hired Ed right before she passed. And Ed is a best-selling author and attorney. And, of course, Brother Johnny, who is really responsible. Well, there's a couple of people involved, but Johnny was spearheading term limits in the state house of Louisiana. And Louisiana went from two-thirds Democrat to two-thirds Republicans with term limits. I wanted to mention Nate Silver, who's certainly on the left.
Yeah.
Says Donald Trump is... the odds of Trump winning is 55-44. The odds of Trump winning Nevada, 54%. Pennsylvania, 60%. North Carolina, 65%. Georgia, 66%. Arizona, 72% chance it's Trump. And then Harris winning Wisconsin, 55%. Michigan, 59% odds. That would give Donald Trump the presidency. In fact, if Trump is going to win North Carolina, Georgia, and Arizona, it's widely thought he will, all he needs is a Wisconsin, a Michigan, or a Pennsylvania. Just one of the three.
Yeah, but I agree with Nate, Eddie, on Wisconsin and Michigan. They're just too bad, and they have same-day registration there in Milwaukee. So, yeah, you just can't, there's no limit to what they can produce, and they haven't been able to crack through with Gretchen Whitmore, I call her. But
one of the things I would describe there, Stevie, is Nate Silver's a smart guy. He's made a great living doing this, and it feels to me like he's coming back to what's true, meaning he knows where it's going. I can tell you the numbers inside the campaign sound like the Trump campaign, in terms of places that Trump's going to Milwaukee today because they think they've got a path in Wisconsin. I know it's tough, you're right, but the reason why he's going to Milwaukee today and Virginia tomorrow is because those two states, which are tough, are close. And so you're seeing the field expand for an expanding campaign. And Nate Silver's trying to catch up to what I think is the reality, because those pollsters don't want to be that wrong. They want to say, oh, yeah, it stayed close, and when Joe Biden called everyone garbage, that's when it really broke. It was late breakers. I think it's been like this for months. And after they gave her a quick look and said, no, that's not it, I think people were there. And I think you're going to see some really surprising things. I think that New Mexico is not in play. That's pretty hard. But Nevada looks like it's heavily, it's hard. Clark County came in. It's one of the big counties. And the numbers are way in Trump's favor. If that's happening, the Dems have a problem. And New Jersey, I don't think you could ever win New Jersey. But remember, Ross Perot outperformed. The only two places he did really well, New Jersey and the collar counties of St. Louis, where there are these white, ethnic, working-class folks, and they would have voted for a Joe Biden. He looks like a lot of people they know. They're not voting for a Kamala Harris, and here's Trump. So watch these places where you see the energy, and you're going to see what's happening. So I'm more optimistic than I'm even saying to you guys, because I'm a little superstitious.
Well, the Vermont looks like they're just calling it a toss-up, and I think that's 10 electoral votes, which is completely never been on my map. So
you said Vermont?
Right.
I think
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. Okay.
It's one of
yeah.
It's all the same up there, Eddie. It's all the same.
spoken like a good Louisiana boy.
Okay, so this weekend with all of the rallies, again, everything is kind of it's whatever is going to happen at this minute, right? I mean, there's not much change, I wouldn't think, between now and Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, what you're watching, if you watch closely, smart people, and I'm doing it myself, it's just get out the vote. Make a plan, get out and vote, get your friends out. I mean, ultimately at this point, you're not going to run a special TV ad. You're not going to have a special rally. What you're trying to do is take the energy that exists and push it towards the polls and get everybody voting. And you're looking in places where the numbers are not as high as you'd expect. You're looking at them and saying, how do I goose turnout? Your phone banking. You're going door to door to high propensity. Low propensity voters are already in the, people that are not automatically Trump, they've already been touched and brought in. At this point, you just got to make sure your high propensity voters, people that are always Republican, that they're voting, 80%. You can't have your high propensity voters vote 60% of them. You got to get them out. So it's all get out the vote. Not a lot's going to change dramatically. There's a October surprise text that's going around this morning about this or that. It's too late. None of it matters. Just get out the vote.
Well, they tried to make that joke one, and then it turned out to be Biden. That was the big October surprise.
That's right.
Because then it was the combo of what he said and then what Trump did with the safety vest, which was just, that's going to go down in history. And poor Kamala. By the way, Stevie, I think I know what she's trying to answer the question, but it doesn't make political sense. She stops when she says, I was born in the middle class, and my sister and I watched our mother work 2 jobs to help raise us. So I know what you're going through. But you're just going to have to suck it up because I'm not changing a damn thing. And she can't finish that. She can't say that. So she looks like she doesn't know what she's talking about.
All right, I want to. Her rallies have been interrupted like 3 of the last 5, and here's another one.
We're here because we're fighting for a democracy.
There's a lot of the same words here too. We're kind of over and over and over.
Fighting for a democracy. And understand the difference here. Understand the difference here. Moving forward. Moving forward. Understand the difference here. What we are looking at is a difference in this election. Let's move forward and see where we are. Because on the issue, for example, of freedom of choice.
They just interrupt her, and yeah, that's okay, she says. But I will say there's a lot of energy in the room, at least. But
what I think, though, Eddie, what's changed too in the last couple of weeks is that Republicans have finally crippled out the notion that it's what they're saying that's going to cripple our democracy. Yeah. They're the ones that are a threat to democracy, and people are saying, man, I think they're the ones that are actually... Finally, it's been years, but it's coming through that if you get rid of the Electoral College and stop the filibuster and shut people up on Google, and then it's not a democracy, and that's backfiring, too. So everything looks good. I'm like Eddie. I'm not dancing on the tables at Pat O'Brien's yet.
Yeah, well, I gotta say though, Stevie, you were playing that clip, and I thought we were going to get to. It's hard to do on radio. 3 of the last 4 events Kamala's had has been interrupted by protesters from the left of her party.
Yeah.
That she has appeased in the past, people that are Black Lives Matter types, Hamas types, and she's appeased them. And there's if it's a realignment, and I think it is, I'm not sure it's permanent. The realignment, when you look at it, is going to be, okay, all these RFK Jr., Shanahan voters who are kind of crunchy and they hate the establishment, but they're really liberal on a bunch of issues. They're with Shanahan. Nicole Shanahan voted at the rally last night in public. She voted for Trump, and she talked about it. Her name is on the ballot. She voted for Trump. And then you look at it and you say, the people that want peace, including Israelis and including Arab Americans in Michigan, are saying there's one guy that says he'll get peace, and we believe he'll protect us. And the other one is sending messages to Israel like you're sort of on your own. But then they're turning around saying, "Oh, but we'll give you all the weapons because we're dominated by the neocon lobby." And then you have the saying to Hamas, "Hey, we're really on your side." And so people don't know what to believe with her. And with Trump, I was with someone last night, Halloween night. She lives in our neighborhood. She's Israeli born American citizen. And she said, we just want him there because we know he'll be strong. We won't always like everything, but he'll be strong and he'll get everybody listening. That's what I think the people in this country are seeing. And to your point, the fight after she loses, if she loses, will be about the future of the Democrat Party and whether the Sanders far left wing is ascending and women that only care about abortion rights, or if there's working folks that can be in the Democrat Party. I really think the Democrat Party is on the brink of a serious crisis after this election, but we'll see in a few days.
I think that one of Trump's legacies, if not his main one, is just completely breaking up the I'm going to say classic, which is my lifetime Democrat versus Republican political structure. That's over. It's switched. First of all, Stevie, a lot of the constituents are switching to Republican from the old Democratic base, and then there's new factions coming out, mostly Democrat there, and we might end up, being a parliamentary government before it's all over because the two-party system, I don't know how much longer it's going to hang on, unless the Republicans turn this into a dominant party. I don't think that can happen in America. So it's interesting, but things have changed, Eddie, and Trump's been able to kind of take advantage of various things that are amazing.
10 seconds more, Stevie. I know we're getting close to the end. The other thing Trump did, and now everybody believes it, is that the news is lying to you. People do not look at the news. I mean, 85% of the American people, all parties, say that the news is not trustworthy, and that's right. So that's a huge. It's not easy, but that's correct, and that's a huge breakthrough for this country to go forward, to believe that you can find what's true, and yeah.
And it took the news taking a side, obviously, 90% of the time. Yeah. And that's finally, it's like, well, they keep taking that side, and I actually agree with Trump this time, but they keep jumping on him, and finally, after about, spaced repetition, 10 years and 14.3 million incidents, they're biased.
Yeah. All right, boys, listen, I'll call you both Monday and see what happens on the weekend, and we'll get a little more detail what Eddie's going to do in
when are you
Philadelphia.
Getting to Philly, Eddie?
I mean, not Philly.
I'm Pennsylvania. I deploy on Monday. I'll be going up there on Monday, and then So we'll fill you in Monday morning.
All right, Ed Martin, Brother Johnny, thanks you guys. I'll call you Monday. Thank both of you. 5 till 8, ESPN 93.5. Ed Martin, President of the Eagle Forum Legal Defense Fund. Ed Martin is his name. You can find him all over the place. He does a kind of a public invited prayer at 10 a.m. where you could get online with him and hear all the people on there praying for America. And then Brother Johnny today from New Orleans, ESPN 93.5. Okay, the news will be next. It's law enforcement. We're going to appreciate a law enforcement individual. That's next after our Fox News here at the top of the hour. On the Fisher National Bank text line, you're always welcome to text us at 217-359-2255 on anything you heard or hear. And we'd welcome that. Don't forget today at Pia's after 3.
Yes.
We'll have the boys out there for the drive after 3 o'clock with Diane Ducey giving away game tickets for the 11 o'clock kickoff.
Absolutely.
With Minnesota.
1609 West Springfield Avenue. See you
Hello,
there.
everyone. My name is Jeff Wilson. Elections matter and your vote matters. Like most of you, I'm very frustrated and irritated by high inflation, high food prices, the flood of illegal immigrants, government suppression of free speech, and the dismantling of core family values. Our country was much better off under Donald Trump. We desperately need a change in leadership. Leadership matters. Together, we can make America prosperous, safe, and great again. I am Jeff Wilson. I paid for this ad, and I am voting for Donald Trump.
When it comes to finding a reliable vehicle, look no further than Sarah Champagne, your trusted automotive destination. They carry a lineup of top brands, including Honda, BMW, Subaru, GMC, and Buick. And they're not just about cars, they're about people. Their team is dedicated to providing you with trustworthy service and dependable vehicles that fit your lifestyle. Experience the difference at Sarah Champagne. Visit Sarah, S-E-R-R-A, champagne.com.
So when was the last time you saw a best deal guarantee?
You mean a promise that actually held up?
Right.
That some unknown online entity didn't want you to log in and download a code and then re-verify as you join some club?
Drives you nuts, I know.
And then once you purchase that set of steak knives...
Well, Dick Van Dyke Appliance World is a lot simpler. You find a verified great deal and they beat it. Just show them the deal you saw. A newspaper clipping or the online cart price will do, and then you're good.
At Dick Van Dyke Appliance World, it's one of those instances where you see a best deal guarantee and...
you get the best deal.
This is Dennis Rieken, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Our exclusive 10-year protection plan comes free with most appliance purchases. Whether it's a GE, Whirlpool, Frigidaire, Bosch, or any of our 30 brands, I guarantee we will beat any competitor's deal. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Hi, I'm Jeff Brownfield, and I'm running to be your next state senator. Our taxes are too high, and it's hurting hardworking families like yours. I'll fight to lower taxes and keep more money in your pocket. The Muhammad Aquifer is our lifeline, and I'll work to protect it from contamination, because frankly, clean water is non-negotiable. It's time to get rid of career politicians who've lost touch with the people they serve. Let's bring fresh ideas to Springfield and get things done for Central Illinois. I'm Jeff Brownfield, and I approve this message. Paid for by Friends of Jeff Brownfield.
Is the plumbing in your home driving you crazy? From leaks to drips or remodels, Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing has you covered. Voted CU's #1 plumbing company, and there's a reason. Treating all customers like friends. Backed up sewers, clogged drains. Call today. Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, 217-841-4728, or visit dogtownheatingandair.com. Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, your home's best friend.
Fighting Illini football is back in Memorial Stadium for Dad's Day and Military Appreciation Day on Saturday, November 2nd, as they take on the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Celebrate dads for one of the biggest weekends of the year with tickets as low as $25. All active military personnel are eligible to receive free tickets. Illinois football versus Minnesota, Saturday, November 2nd. Get $25 tickets at fightingillini.com.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
A big hiring slowdown. I'm Dave Anthony. In the last big economic report before the presidential election, the October jobs report just out came in way below expectations.
12,000 jobs added.
Fox Business Network Cheryl Casoni.
We haven't seen this number since December of 2020.
The government's also revised August and September hiring down. 112,000 fewer jobs created in those months than first reported. The unemployment rate last month remained the same, though, 4.1%. The economy remains the biggest issue for many voters, especially inflation.
I will enact the first ever federal ban on corporate price gouging on groceries.
Vice President Harris in Las Vegas.
If Kamala is reelected, New Mexico's economy will be reduced to rubble. You're not going to be drilling oil. There's no more drilling. There's no more oil. You can forget it.
Former President Trump in Albuquerque. He also went to Nevada, and both also campaigned in Arizona. Today, there will be dueling Trump-Harris rallies in Wisconsin, and the former president will also go to Michigan, another toss-up state, and he may again bring up President Biden calling Trump supporters garbage. The White House insists, though, the president didn't, editing the transcript of what he said, putting an apostrophe after the R in supporters in the transcript to make it look singular, like he was only referring to one now infamous supporter. That angered the White House stenography office, which did not improve that change.
The White House is not explaining what exactly happened here, just to say the president confirmed in his tweet on Tuesday evening that he was addressing the hateful rhetoric from the comedian at Trump's Madison Square Garden rally. That was reflected in the transcript.
Fox's Peter Ducey, that comedian, caused the stir, calling Puerto Rico garbage. A shooting after midnight in downtown Orlando, Florida, left 2 people dead during a Halloween celebration.
Those victims are currently in stable condition. Shortly after the reported shots fired, a shooting suspect was located and taken into custody.
Police Chief Eric Smith talking about the 6 people wounded. America's listening to Fox News.
So this new dose is, well, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
Hey, Donald Trump Jr. here. Central banks are buying gold at record amounts, and the trend is accelerating in 2024. They see the writing on the wall. The dollar is failing. Is gold the answer for you too? To find out, get a free info kit from Birch Gold Group by texting the word SHELTER to 989898. That's SHELTER to the number 989898 to get your free info kit from Birch Gold, the only gold company I trust, right now.
Message and data rates may apply. Again, our top Fox News story, a much worse than expected employment report showing just 12,000 jobs created last month, 100,000 below expectations, the weakest hiring since December 2020. The unemployment rate for October was unchanged, however, still 4.1%. And on Wall Street, stocks may rise. Dow futures up more than 200 points the day after a big sell-off. It's the last big economic report before the election. More than 64 million Americans, though, have already voted early, and learning more about election night, which is coming up, of course, on Tuesday, and where those candidates who are hoping for victory are going to be watching the results as they come in.
After spending Election Day Eve in Pennsylvania, Vice President Kamala Harris will spend election night in D.C. at her alma mater, Howard University. She graduated from the historically black university in 1986. She is the first HBCU graduate to serve as vice president. Former President Trump will spend Tuesday night closer to home. His campaign has planned an election watch party at the Palm Beach Convention Center, not far from Mar-a-Lago. The former president spent 2016's election night in New York City and was in Washington, D.C. in 2020. Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Jared is going to be part of our Fox News radio coverage of election night results starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Tuesday night. Now an update on an independent running for president.
Third-party presidential candidate Cornel West recently lost a bid to be included on the presidential ballot in the key battleground state of Pennsylvania after a judge said it was too late to reprint ballots or retest election machines without increasing the risk of error. Because he wasn't on the ballot, West was asking an order be enacted, requiring signs be put up at polling places indicating he was an option as a write-in candidate. That emergency appeal was denied Thursday by Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito.
That's Sue Guzman. I'm Dave Anthony. This is Fox News.
Here's a look at local news. A Lincoln home destroyed as firefighters battled not only the blaze, but also windy conditions. Lincoln Rural Fire and Auto Aid departments called to a house fire in the 1400 block of State Route 10. As firefighters arrived, the home completely consumed by fire. A coalition of banking groups asking a federal judge to block an Illinois law banning certain credit card fees. The banks argue that the regulation would be costly to financial institutions and is preempted by existing federal law. The injunction is requesting a part of the federal lawsuit filed by financial institutions. The law blocks banks and credit card companies from charging retailers a small fee on taxes and tips. Longtime aide to former Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan revealing details about his control over the state House during Madigan's racketeering trial. Will Cosino testified that former House Speaker would secretly impose his will on legislation with the help of trusted lieutenants like Michael McLean. You're locally up to date from the Stevie Jay Broadcasting Newsroom. I'm Jim.
All right, Jim, thank you. Our weather this morning brought to you by Busey for over 155 years. Member FDIC. Our meteorologist extraordinaire, Greg Solier, will tell us the weather. Pretty darn good for November 1st, All Saints Day, brother. Pretty nice.
Oh, that's right. Correct. Yes, absolutely. For those among us and up in the great cumulonimbus of the sky, as Finkel used to say. In any event, bundle up a little on the chilly side out there compared to readings that were, double what we have out there this morning. 35 Willard and Savoy, 36 Danville, 35 Bloomington Normal, 34 at the Kankakee, 44 at St. Louis, downtown Indy at around the 40-degree mark. Things working out pretty much expected. Hopefully your trick-or-treat bag was tied on good and tight yesterday afternoon and evening time. Much quieter and easier to take wind pattern for the next couple. The next weather system will be a prolonged multi-round feature coming out of the plains across the Corn Belt. You want drought relief? You're going to get it. Thank goodness we're ahead of the game and then some on harvest and fall related activities. This would probably shut us down for a while and probably will for a week to 10 days, but we need the moisture desperately. 56 today, no rain today, sun-filled, light north-northeasterly wind, 32 tonight. Tomorrow, sunshine, light southeast wind 6 to 12. Kickoff temperature about 56. Later in the ballgame, 63. Get some rain in here tomorrow night after midnight. Remember the time change and a low down to 45. Breezy milder for the day on Sunday. Several rounds of showers and a Sunday high of around about 70. 73. Several rounds of showers Monday. More rain. Election day Tuesday at 70. 1 to 3, maybe close to 4 inches of rain not far from Champaign. And cooler, drier air. We're temporarily back into the 50s around here the second half of next week with another warm up to follow. For Stevie Jay Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solier.
Oh, yeah, we got to remember falling back on those clocks. Yeah, Saturday night into Sunday, get the extra hour daylight. That's nice. I'm sorry, extra hour sleep.
Yes.
Losing our daylight.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, on the first of every month, we celebrate law enforcement. We appreciate what law enforcement does in our lives. Keeps me from having to defend my backyard. You got 911 and people that answer the call. Probably the most prolific law enforcement family in our county, and maybe the history of our county. The Brown family, his dad, Joe Brown, was a Champaign County sheriff for 12 years, and then his twin brother, Tony, served with him 25 years U of I. John Brown is the deputy chief of police in Tolono, and law enforcement is just in your family. Now your son, is it your son?
Evan.
Evan is on the Champaign Police Department?
Yes, he's been there just over a year, and before that he worked for Muhammad for a year or two.
Okay, nice.
So you were obviously influenced by your dad, I guess, huh?
I would say so. I remember that I guess Tony and I, being identical twins, think a lot alike. And about junior year in high school, we both decided we wanted to go into law enforcement.
Served together in the U of I police force. That's probably the only identical twins ever in our county to serve together 25 years.
I would say that that's probably accurate.
I mean, you get the qualifiers and narrow it down. The only ones that named Brown that served. I mean, it's just very unusual. And so 3 generations now the Browns have served our community, and it's wonderful, I think. So Tony's now chief of police of Rantoul.
Yes.
But I couldn't get him on the phone or on the air on a bet, right?
Well, I tried to talk him into coming on with me. I thought it would be kind of cool to have twin brothers on at the same time. But I don't think he likes the idea of being on the radio.
Well, he just doesn't understand it's Stevie Softball J.
Right? That's right.
Come on, man.
Right.
Come on, man.
And your daughter Elena's really part of the family of law enforcement too, being in the communication side.
Yeah, she works as a telecommunicator now at the U of I Police Department. So.
Well, you're also mayor of Savoy. I mean, why still have a foot in law enforcement? Why you do this?
Well, I've always loved the job. I mean, my dad taught us a strong work ethic, and he ended up with emphysema, and at the time was the public guardian, public administrator for Champaign County, and I can remember visiting him in a hospital room about 2 days before he died, and he was still working. So I probably be the same way. Keep working. It's I think especially for him, if he wouldn't have had what he did and had something to do, some purpose, I think he probably would have died many years before he did. So
it's kind of a Bear Bryant thing, huh? He knew what he did, and he was great at it, and then all of a sudden he got sick. And so, I mean, it's just what you do, and you feel that. You feel that passion for law enforcement, yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, I'd like to do it until, at least 3 more years, till I'm 60. But we'll see. What it is kind of nice to know is I have my retirement, so I don't have to do this if I don't want to do it. So
it's nice to have choices.
Yes.
All right, so what is it we should tell people about law enforcement and the intent that a good law enforcement official has every single day they wake up?
Well, I mean, the vast majority of law enforcement, the people that get into law enforcement are doing it for the right reason. They're out there to serve the community and to protect people, try to make people's lives better.
When it comes to my hometown at Tolono, where you're an active person on the police force, thank you for that. The young people and, some of the park complaining about vandalism, the stuff on social media about people not obeying the traffic laws, rolling through stop signs, speeding. How do you deal with all of that these days?
Well, you try to make an impact and try to solve those issues. I mean, it's not always as easy as what people think they are. Even as mayor in Savoy, I mean, I think the number one complaint I get is speeding. And, the village, Tolono is the same way. We can only do so much. I mean, people, I always like to say people are always going to speed. It just, how do you keep that, enforce it enough that you keep those